Gut Bacteria and Aging by Aditi, TYTIANA, HARSHAW, and RACHNA PATEL.
Prokaryotes were the first inhabitants on Earth and appeared long before multicellular organisms. Bacteria are prokaryotes which lack membrane bioorganelles and a true nucleus. They are one of the three domains of life and can sustain temperatures that could be harmful to plants and animals. For instance, according to the Biology 1520 website, some soil bacteria are able to form endospores that resist heat and drought, thereby allowing the organism to survive until favorable conditions recur. Additionally, there are generally two categories of bacteria, good and bad. There are good bacteria that can enhance human health and bad bacteria that can cause one to become ill. For example, good bacteria or probiotics such as Streptococcus thermophilus is a starter culture in the manufacturing process of yogurt, mozzarella cheese, and other fermented dairy products. By consuming these products containing this bacteria, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, and nausea can be reduced. Essentially, bacteria exist all over the earth, from tabletops and doorknobs, inside of the human body, more specifically the gut.
Even as single-celled organisms, bacteria are incredibly complicated and can perform a wide array of complex behaviors. One of these behaviors is quorum sensing. Quorum sensing was first discovered in Vibrio fischeri, a bacteria that has a mutualistic relationship with squids and other marine animals. In exchange for nutrients, the V. fischeri bacteria produced a luminescent protein that allowed its host to glow. However, researchers noticed that the free-living V. fischeri were not bioluminescent and only glowed when present in large populations in a squid's glow organ. Why? As researchers found out, the bacteria are constantly producing an autoinducer signaling molecule that, in high enough concentrations, triggers the transcription of the protein that allows the bacteria to bioluminesce. This can only happen when the bacteria populations are dense enough. For a single bacteria to glow is a waste of metabolic resources. Quorum sensing is present across many bacterial species, and its effects are not limited to bioluminescence. Quorum sensing can also produce biofilms and trigger pathogenicity in certain bacteria. So what does this have to do with animals? Animals' bodies are host to thousands of different bacterial species, most of which are concentrated in the digestive system. These gut bacteria help digest food and are also important players in the immune system. While these bacteria are usually beneficial, even essential to animal life, they can sometimes become pathogenic in large populations. This again is due to quorum sensing. According to researchers James Capper and Vanessa Sperandino, gut flora like E. coli and Salmonella are usually not pathogenic in our guts, but can become pathogenic with the introduction of other commensal bacteria. The bacteria have receptors for autoinducers that trigger the transcription of pathogenic genes, which can be devastating for the animal host. We know quorum sensing plays a large part in the pathogenicity of usually beneficial bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella, but can large populations of gut bacteria also affect age-related diseases?
Speaking of the gut, did you know there are numerous types of bacteria in your gut right now? These bacteria can undergo changes as we age, and based on a study conducted by Dr. Floris Fransen from the University Medical Center in the Netherlands, these changes aren't all positive. To investigate the characteristics of these bacteria, Dr. Fransen and his researchers transferred gut bacteria from old and young mice into young, germ-free mice. They then analyzed the immune responses in the spleen, lymph nodes, and tissues of small intestines in these mice. All the results showed immune responses to bacteria from the old mice only. This led them to conclude that gut bacteria are responsible for inflammaging, or low-grade chronic inflammation associated with aging. The results suggest that the cause of inflammation in the elderly could be an imbalance of the bacterial composition in the gut, which is known as dysbiosis. These effects can be the result of bad bacteria outnumbering good bacteria and can make the lining of the gut more permeable, allowing more toxins to enter the bloodstream. However, it isn't completely understood as to why gut bacteria is different in the elderly, but it could be a combination of factors, such as reduced physical activity, changes in the diet, or natural processes. But since this experiment was performed on mice, further studies need to be done to confirm the link between humans and mice. Regardless, we know one thing for sure: bacteria can change significantly in response to changes in environment and their surroundings.